now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto. Today, we are going to be talking about some very interesting hot takes coming out of none other than Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, owner of Dogecoin, and proponent of the idea that Ethereum is going to overtake Bitcoin, if you can believe it. He seems to think that. We're going to be talking about that in today's video. And we're also going to be talking about some massive adoption stories that are going on with Bitcoin right now. And we're going to be covering why this is going to be a huge deal on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I hear you guys about the echo. We're going to work on that. Tim, welcome to the show, my friend. What's going on?
Am I echoing? Am I echoing? There's an echo.
There's two audio tracks on the screen.
Nice.
I can almost guarantee you that's
Nice.
Give me a second. I'm not seeing any reason why it should be echoing. I'm here.
It's on me.
Oh, you know what? No, I know what it is.
Nice figuring it out, guys.
All right. Is that better?
Welcome to the show, everybody. Do apologize for that. Is that better?
It's the Virginia. It's not the Virginia Tech shirt.
It's the Virginia Tech shirt.
It's not. We suck at some things, but I don't think that it's the blame for the audio.
Tim,
Is that better?
I think it's better. Okay,
All
Tim.
right.
Welcome yourself. How you
Sweet.
doing, man?
I'm doing good, guys, and I am joined by my counterpart Shades over here. So yes, it's not the VT guys. It's not.
It's not Virginia Tech.
Please don't blame them. That's in. It's not them. Not them.
We are also joined today, as always, by our lovely producer Smay. How are you doing, Smay?
I'm trucking along, guys. I'm trucking along. I'm vibing.
Trucking along, having some fun, guys. We are going to be talking about a lot in today's live stream. I'm really excited for it, guys. Just so you know, today's live stream is brought to you by Normal Glasses, so that I don't have to wear sunglasses inside anymore. Tell me what you think. I just got these yesterday. I can actually see. It was really funny. We did that collab with BitBoy, and I was sitting there wearing sunglasses the whole time. Very mixed reactions about the idea of sunglasses inside. I think a lot of people thought I was wearing them to look cool. Guys, I can't see nothing. I can't read chat. The screen's right here without glasses on. Had to have something on. Tim, what was the reaction on that, my friend?
I think people thought you were high. I
think that's what it was. They thought I had a crazy night the night before. That's literally what they thought. But the thing is, I was wearing them for 2 days. It was a long party, guys. Anyway, guys, like I said, this video is sponsored by none other than glasses. Get yours today if you can't see. I promise you it'll help. Tim, what are we going to be talking about today? I know we have some news to cover coming out of Mark Cuban. Can you give us a bit of an intro on that?
No, so that's going to be the number one story we're going to talk about is Mark Cuban. We're going to speculate on exactly what is even happening there with Mark. Should Mark even be allowed to be speculating about cryptocurrency? He's got a lot of hot takes recently that are fishy at best. But that being said, we also want to leave it up to you guys to tell us what you guys think. Are you a fan of Mark Cuban's? Are you a fan of his cryptocurrency specialties and advice? Or are you kind of maybe in our boat of saying like, all right, Mark, I don't think you really should be talking much more about crypto?
Guys, we're going to jump right into the article that we're talking about, and we are going to debate amongst ourselves what we think about Mark Cuban's take, and you guys are going to get a lot of information about why Bitcoin is actually never going to be taken over by Ethereum, why Bitcoin is never going to be taken over by any other cryptocurrency. We're going to be covering all of that and more in today's live stream. If you do enjoy today's stream, smash that like button. Let's see if we can get to over 100 likes before we even dive into the content. Thank you guys so much for joining, and shout out to everybody who's come over from BitBoys channel. We are so very glad to have you. I'm looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. Make sure to introduce yourself in chat, and I'll give you guys a couple of shout outs here a little bit later. I'm going to go ahead and start with this article. So Smay, if you go ahead and jump on over to my screen, we will get started. Billionaire Mark Cuban reveals why he thinks Ethereum will dwarf Bitcoin as crypto market price hits $2 trillion. By the way, just want to say, Mark Cuban is the same guy that thinks you should invest in Dogecoin, and he's the same person that would rather have a banana than Bitcoin. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know. That's what he thinks. I really don't know if he's right on that. Anyway, Mark Cuban, the billionaire investor made famous by the reality television show Shark Tank, has changed his tune on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in recent months. Cuban made headlines when he said he'd rather have bananas than Bitcoin, calling crypto too complicated, as if the traditional banking system isn't too complicated and it's still worth $10 trillion. Anyway, I can go off on that for the next hour, not going to. But the Dallas Mavericks owner has since come around to cryptocurrencies, praising the emerging decentralized finance space, which is largely built on top of the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're going to dive into all of these different points here in just a second, but let's go ahead and finish reading this article really quickly. Now, as the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market price soars over $2 trillion, Cuban has revealed that he expects Ethereum's long-awaited 2.0 upgrade to spark the development of apps that will dwarf Bitcoin. I think the applications leveraging smart contracts and extensions on Ethereum will dwarf Bitcoin, Cuban told journalist Laura Shin, speaking on her Unchained podcast. Bitcoin right now has evolved to be primarily a store of value and is very difficult to use for anything else. You really have to work a lot harder on Bitcoin than you do on Ethereum. He goes on to say, let's see, with proof of stake, you're going to have to be able to have some multiple, a significantly higher multiple in transactions per second. That's going to improve the utilization and the opportunities to create on Ethereum. Okay, let's go back to full screen. I want to break this down really quickly, and I also want Tim to chime in a little bit here in a second. Essentially, what Mark Cuban is saying is that Bitcoin is going to be overtaken by Ethereum for two main reasons. He believes that Ethereum is going to overtake Bitcoin because Ethereum has the capability to host more transactions per second. In case you didn't know, Visa handles 1,700 transactions per second. That's just a number you ought to know. Bitcoin handles about 7 to 10 transactions per second. So there is a big problem with transactional throughput on Bitcoin. Mark Cuban is very right in pointing that out. His fallacy, his flaw is in his analysis of what this means for the market. His other point is that on top of Ethereum is decentralized finance being built. He believes that the entire future of finance is moving to Ethereum, and I am inclined to agree with him. So I actually agree with both of his issues. I agree with both of his points. I don't agree with his take. I think his take is crazy, and here's why. If Bitcoin is going to be the currency of the future, which we believe that it is going to get there because of its limited supply. Go read the Bitcoin Standard. I think I've mentioned that book in the last 5 streams. I really think I've talked about it a lot. Tim, you're actually starting to work through it now, too, aren't you?
The Bitcoin Standard?
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
goodness gracious.
If I could recommend any book for any person, that would be it. Like, I'm only through chapter 4, I think. But in the beginning, it talks about the history of money. You really don't know how much you don't know about money until you read the Bitcoin Standard.
Yes.
It is
incredibly
so
eye-opening.
Good to explain it.
Drop a 1 in chat if you guys would like us to bring Safedin Almos on the show. I would love nothing more than to speak to him. He's from the Austrian School of Economics. He is an economist and someone that I highly respect for his views on currency, national identity, economies, and etc. So anyway, guys, the point I'm making here is that in the Bitcoin Standard, you learn something very important about money. For something to be a sound money, for something to be saleable over time, meaning that you can trust its value will stay the same over time, it needs to have a limited or a expected increase in its supply. Gold over the last 70 years has increased by less than 2% every single year. Bitcoin has been decreasing its increase in supply. What that means is that every 4 years, less Bitcoin is injected into the space every single year. It has a limited supply. The issue with fiat currencies right now is twofold. Number one, it is centralized, which is how the government keeps its hold on the fact that fiat currency does not have a limited supply. If fiat currency had a limited supply, I would not be a fan of Bitcoin because fiat currency is already adopted. I would go in that direction. The reason fiat currency is a failure is because of it not having limited supply, it's stealing value from you. $2 in 1970 would be worth what $100 is today. Inflation has absolutely destroyed savings throughout the modern world. All of this bringing back to the debate between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Here is the exact reason why Ethereum will not take over Bitcoin, and I challenge Mark Cuban to challenge me on this. He is absolutely categorically false. Go back to the screen real quick, Smay, and I will show you something. Bitcoin over on CoinMarketCap, you can see, has a maximum supply. This is the most Bitcoin that will ever be in existence, and the number's actually lower than this because Bitcoin is constantly lost by it being thrown into landfills and hard drives that are destroyed. Its maximum supply will only ever be 21 million. Its total supply right now is 18.6 million, meaning that the vast majority of Bitcoin that will ever exist already exists. Meaning that Bitcoin's inflation and therefore stock-to-flow ratio is much higher than even gold. All of that to say that Bitcoin is an even more sound form of money than gold is. Gold is the only single asset in the history of mankind that has been used as money throughout the history of the world. It's the only one, literally bar none. Silver's lost its monetary status also. Paper money in every single country that has attempted it in a fiat manner has lost its value. Everything that has ever been used as currency has failed except for gold. Bitcoin exemplifies why gold has value to an even greater degree. Gold is the successor. Bitcoin is the successor to gold. Here is why Ethereum will not overtake Bitcoin. If you go on Ethereum's page, here on CoinMarketCap, notice how the total supply is 115 million. Notice how maximum supply says hyphen. At this moment, Ethereum does not have a maximum supply. Now go back to full screen real quick, Smay, and let's break this down. Ethereum in the future, through updates, may have a maximum supply imposed on it.
Yeah.
That is possible. And that is something that we should keep in mind. And if that's the case, Cuban might be right. However, that is not the case right now. The fact of the matter is, Bitcoin and actually Cardano are the only two major cryptocurrencies that have limited supply that you should be interested in investing in. Because of that, they are eventually going to overtake all currency. That's a bold statement. Jebb, Bitcoin is going to take over all currency? Yes, and here's exactly why. Remember that gold has been a currency for the last 6,000 years. Why is that? Because it is better at storing value over time. Period. It's called the salability of money across time. That's the technical term in economics for it. It's the salability of the currency across time, the ability to store value across time and not lose value, the same way you lose value in the US dollar, in the yen, or the Great British pound, or the euro. Ethereum has the same problem of the US dollar. Bitcoin has the same advantage of gold. And therefore, Bitcoin will eventually take over all world currencies. It might take 50 years. It might not happen tomorrow. It's probably not going to happen tomorrow, but it will end up happening. Either Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency that has limited supply. Okay, cool. Here's why, now putting a big neat bow on this, and then we'll go into a discussion about it between Tim and I, because I really want to try and work through this with you guys, because I want you to understand just how wrong Mark Cuban is and why it's important. Bitcoin is going to be superior to gold and to Ethereum simply because of one thing. Currency markets are the largest markets on the planet. Easy. If you add up the sum total of all the value of all the currencies in the world, you're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars. No other market comes close. There is actually one market. It's the foreign exchange market, which is a derivatives market, which does not actually produce anything tangible for the economy. Currency does. It gives us a medium of exchange. It is something that's valuable. It is the largest market on the planet. Nothing that Ethereum will ever build will come close to it. And until Ethereum can have that limited supply factor and take over government currencies the same way Bitcoin can, it does not have as large of an opportunity as Bitcoin does. That is not to say that Ethereum and decentralized applications and smart contracts aren't a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Ethereum could become a 10, 15, 20, 30 trillion-dollar industry. That is absolutely true. But Bitcoin's looking at a $200 trillion industry. So back to the question, will Ethereum ever overtake Bitcoin? The answer is categorically, based on simple economic principles, no, it will not. Tim, what are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, my thoughts are, first of all, based off what you guys are saying in chat, there's some of you that very much agree, and there are some of you that very much disagree. And
Yes.
that is a great thing. Let us know in chat. If you haven't got to chime in yet, what do you think about all this? Because I do think I see, what people are saying with what's going to be happening with the, we're about to see the Berlin fork, and then, here in a couple months, we'll see the London fork of Ethereum, and then we'll see the full flesh out of ETH 2.0, and it will solve a lot of the gas fees, and it will help put a cap on the creation. That being said, it has not happened yet.
Yes.
And we also don't know exactly the details of what that's going to look like in the future. That being said, even if all that happens, I mean, are we also saying Cardano is going to overtake Bitcoin? Are we going to say like any of these other coins? Bitcoin was the first. It was the biggest. It was the best. It's the big brother. Is it... I mean, Jebb, to answer your question, is it possible that these other coins take Bitcoin over?
Of course it's possible.
The word possible is the answer is yes. Is it likely? Absolutely not. And like I said, if you begin reading the Bitcoin Standard, you're going to be able to understand that a little bit better as to why. That being said, though, when we get back to the Mark Cuban aspect of this, Mark Cuban loves just saying things that have kernels of truth
Yes.
to get attention.
Yep.
Right? It doesn't actually, like, the things he has said have been so asinine that it's like, how do we actually know
Good word for it.
what do we actually hold on to what he says?
Yes, and that's the thing, guys, is that Mark Cuban, while, guys, you got to understand, just because someone's a billionaire doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. And that's not me to say that, that's not me saying that Mark Cuban isn't an expert in something. Mark Cuban is obviously an expert in many fields, or else he would not have become a billionaire. It wasn't handed to him. You can argue about whether or not he's self-made, but at the end of the day, he was not born a billionaire. He now is. That did not have my chance. He worked for it. Good for Mark Cuban. Shout out to Mark Cuban. I applaud you, good sir.
Yeah.
However, on this one issue, you're wrong. And the reason is because Mark Cuban does not understand the reason why Bitcoin has value in the first place. And that's not me. And by the way, this is not me saying, hey, Mark Cuban, you shouldn't have a platform. Hey, Mark Cuban, you shouldn't talk. This is open intellectual debate. That's the entire basis of modern liberalism is the idea of having debate. So this is why we like to do this, so that I can present to you, this is what this person says, this is what I say, and then you can walk away with an understanding of both sides, and you can go make a decision for yourselves. I'm interested to hear what you think in the comment section, though. What are people saying in the chat? How are people reacting to what I am saying?
Yeah.
And what do they think, Tim?
There's a couple things back and forth. I mean, we got some people who I think, based on what they're saying, like Mark Cuban. By the way, I want to make sure you guys understand, I said the things that he said have been asinine. I think Mark Cuban is a brilliant person.
Yes, I think so too.
I think potentially this is even part of his whole thing. I mean, like I said, at one point he's saying, I'd rather have a banana than have a Bitcoin.
Yep.
Then he gets, as you guys point out, he owns Bitcoin. So he clearly changed his mind there.
Yep.
But then he pumps Dogecoin, which everyone, Elon Musk pumps Dogecoin, but also realizes and points out
It's
that
a
it is
joke.
a joke.
Yes.
Right? But yet he has made this the coin of his franchise, his NBA franchise. So what is he actually doing? Like, I'm not saying he's unintelligent. I actually think he's being very intelligent.
Exactly.
But intelligent people sometimes say things and do things to mislead the public. So when I say, should he be commenting on this anymore? More what I'm saying is should we be listening to what he's commenting
Yes,
anymore?
exactly.
I never would want to tell him to stop speaking. This is a free country. I would love for the entire world to be able to say whatever they want to say, as long as it's not, absolutely egregiously against people. But that being said, what I'm saying is, should Mark Cuban be the voice of reason when we're thinking cryptocurrency?
So, guys, here's what I want to do. Are you Team Jebb or are you Team Cuban? Do hashtag Team Jebb in the chat or hashtag Team
my
Cuban.
gosh.
Flood the chat with your team. I want to see what team you're on. Do you believe with what Cuban says? Do you believe that Ethereum has the potential and probably will overtake? What was that, Smay?
Oh my gosh.
What was that? I saw that. What was
No,
that?
you didn't see anything.
Put it back up on screen. What was it? What is it?
It's just a picture of Cuban.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here, I want to see it. It's got to come through here in just a second. What is it?
Nuke Cuban.
King Nuke Cuban. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That's great. That's hilarious. Anyway, what I was saying is Team Jebb, Team Cuban, tell us in the chat. And by the way, if you're enjoying today's live stream, make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we can't get to 250 likes here in the next 5 minutes or so. And maybe I'll do, I don't know, a backflip or something. If you want to see me break my neck, then that's probably the best way to do it. Make sure to go ahead and drop a like. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to continue here with the Mark Cuban discussion, and we're also going to move on here in a few minutes to talking about some major fundamentals going on with Bitcoin and its adoption. Tim, what else did we want to talk about on the Cuban debate?
Well, first of all, when we talk about Ethereum, just because we don't think Ethereum is going to surpass Bitcoin,
we still think it's going to do very well.
Ethereum's not going to do well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like when you look at the car industries, there's got to be number one. There has to be. Competition breeds a number one. That doesn't mean number two, number three, number four aren't very successful as well. It just means we have a clear number one.
Yep.
Bitcoin is going to be clear number one, but Ethereum sitting very comfortably at number two. I don't think anything is even close to rivaling at number two. That might continue. I personally think ADA, and I don't know what you guys think. Let us know. I think ADA is coming. I think ADA is coming hard.
I think ADA is.
I don't think Ethereum is going to necessarily bow to ADA. I don't think Ethereum is going to give up easily. I just think we have two very good projects that we're going to see a very good duel. But it's all going to be under the umbrella of the big daddy, which is
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Real quick, Smay, can you actually jump to the screen, because I want to show some. I want to show everybody something about Cardano actually, and we actually just recorded a video that'll be coming out later today on Cardano. We have a ton of fundamentals tied in with technicals on Cardano, and we're going to be using fundamentals, that's the news and the adoption, and the technicals, that's the charting and the indicators, to come to a price prediction on Cardano. That video is coming out later, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe for that. One of the reasons I like Cardano, guys, is because unlike Ethereum, Cardano actually has a maximum supply. It's sitting at 45 billion coins. Cardano right now has about 32 million of those in existence. Excuse me, 32 billion of those in existence. So shoot back to full screen real quick. The reason why that's important, guys, is very, very simple. If Bitcoin's value intrinsically comes from its limited supply, which is backed up by its decentralization, think about it like this: the U.S. military defends the U.S. economy. The U.S. economy is what has value. The U.S. military is what defends it. Well, if the U.S. economy is being defended by the U.S. military, then Bitcoin's limited supply is being defended by its decentralization. That the purpose of decentralization is to defend its limited supply. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay, awesome. The reason why I actually like Cardano more than Ethereum in one aspect is because Cardano, even though it's a younger project, even though it doesn't have quite as much adoption as Ethereum, although that is changing quickly, it has a limited supply. And that means that it can serve the same purpose as Bitcoin as having a limited supply. That's a big deal. And that is a huge reason to be invested in Cardano. And when you hear us talk about why we love Cardano, that's one of the reasons. By the way, drop a 1 in chat if you'd like Mark Cuban to come on the show and we can try and debate him.
Well,
go ahead and drop a 1 if you're interested in that.
I just asked, and
oh, okay, drop a 2.
Drop a 2 if you want Mark Cuban to come on the show. I think that'd be interesting. Even though I disagree with him, I would love to talk with him because I do think he's smart. But drop a 1 in chat because I've seen a couple questions about volatility. People have been asking Jebb, and you know what? Drop a 1 anyway. We're going to go ahead and discuss that. Jebb, people have been asking a lot of questions about volatility and, why is Bitcoin at the current rate, the volatility is so crazy it couldn't be a currency. I know you have an opinion on that.
I definitely have an opinion on that, and that is a fantastic question. Here's the deal, guys. Bitcoin is still in something that we call price discovery phase. Bitcoin is 12 years old. Gold has been around for 6,000 years. Let's just put those two up front. Gold has been being used by human civilization for the last 5,500 to 6,000 years. Bitcoin, on the other hand, was only created and mined for the first time in the Genesis block on January 3rd, 2009. It's been around for 12 years. 12 years, 3 months, and 12 years, 4 months, and 3 days is how long Bitcoin has been around. Naturally, when a currency is reaching mass adoption, naturally, when the internet or when the automobile is going towards mass adoption and many people are first getting on board, it's going to cause a lot of fluctuations in the price. Because when you look at the economics, the supply curve and the demand curve are overlapping, right? What does that mean? The supply of Bitcoin is moving in one direction. It's actually falling off insofar as its growth is actually flattening out, but its demand is going up. That increased demand over here is causing the volatility. The volatility of Bitcoin is coming because of more and more people entering the space. Bitcoin right now acts as a store of value in the same way that gold acts as a store of value. People don't use gold as a currency anymore. The key word there is anymore. Gold has everything it really needs to be a currency. The reason that gold is not a currency anymore is twofold. Number one, it is hard to move physically. You have to transport it. So that's where banknotes and fiat currency started, is that, okay, you can transport a piece of paper a lot easier than you can transport gold, right? So the big issue with gold is that it is hard to transport. The other big issue is that it has been its currency status has been stripped away from it by the federal governments of the world, but from the IMF and the International Monetary Fund, through the Federal Reserve, through many different policies that started in the beginning of the 20th century, around 1910 to 1914, that fueled the First World War effort. Gold has lost its monetary status. Bitcoin is gaining monetary status. So where gold has already gone through its adoption curve, it's already been adopted and flatlining, Bitcoin, on the other hand, is starting that phase. It's starting that adoption. The value of Bitcoin is going up and being so volatile because it hasn't been mass adopted yet. So for that reason, it is going to act as a store of value until a certain number of the population have adopted Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin reaches mass adoption, that volatility will fall off and it will be capable of being used as a currency. Right now, it's not very good at being used as a currency simply because it changes value so much. That's one of the things you need from a stable currency, is stable value. Here's the problem. There's no such thing as a currency with stable value right now. Your US dollar loses 2% every single year on a good year because our modern economy has been built on an economic concept from the Keynesians called inflationism. The Keynesians believe that if you spend money and money and money and money, and I spend money now and now and now and now and now, then I'm going to stimulate the economy. That's not actually how economics works, but unfortunately our entire modern financial system is built on it. Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin's going to revolutionize that, and that's why the Bitcoin standard is called the Bitcoin Standard. It's a standard book that you should read. Seriously, homework. Go read the Bitcoin Standard by Safedin Amos. Your eyes will be open. You will understand why you're here, and it will make you millions. I'm not kidding. If you understand why Bitcoin exists, you will make a lot of money. I know that's something you're interested in. Go read that book. It'll take you 8 hours to read through the whole book. you will make a wealth of knowledge. If you make $10,000 from reading that book, then you just made $1,200 an hour by reading that book. There's a good reason to go ahead and read books. It's because the knowledge makes you money, so you're actually working for a profit. Anyway, the point is, Bitcoin has volatility right now because it's still reaching that mass adoption. And this is actually something that we're going to talk about here in just a second. And Tim, I know we need to move on to that because we want to talk about that adoption on Bitcoin. That adoption is accelerating. And once that adoption achieves a critical mass and starts going mainstream, which is happening right now. Yeah. It's happening right now. There's so much adoption going on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now, which is awesome. And that's why the price has gone up 300% in the last 4 months. Yeah. Once that adoption goes exponential, it won't be long before we've reached mass adoption. It'll happen very quickly. We're talking about in the span of like 10 years, which in the history of economies is very quick. Once that happens, the volatility will drop off. Bitcoin will reach a stable price, and it will be able to be used as a currency. Its use as a store of value is what's going to get it there. Fantastic question, guys. By asking that question, I can tell that you're on the right track. Continue asking those questions, and always ask the question, why? Why does Bitcoin have volatility? Because it is still in its adoption curve. There's your answer. Hopefully that wasn't too long of an answer. Tim, I know we want to talk about some fundamentals. Can you go ahead and introduce us? Thank you, everybody who's joined, by the way. Make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we can't get to 250 likes. I appreciate you tuning in.
All right. So as you guys already have heard, most likely, if you have not, we're going to tell you right now. Grayscale is looking to become an ETF. They are looking, I think they've actually put like $15 million into that project, but they're actually going about dealing with the SEC to become an official trading platform for Bitcoin, for cryptocurrency. So that's big news. And we also have the news, which is not breaking. We've known about this for a while, but it's coming very close, is the breaking ground of the Coinbase IPO coming April 14th. This is massive, especially with the growth that Coinbase just had over the Q1 of 2021, where I can't remember the number, something like $1.8 billion or something like that. Coinbase is growing like crazy. The amount of people on it is growing like crazy. Grayscale is trying to create an ETF, and as we're going to talk about here in a little bit, look what happened to gold when gold had ETFs come out back in 2004, I believe. Big things are happening in Bitcoin. And a question I think a lot of people are asking, because Jebb, I've been asking this question, and as I've been known on the show, is I'm the not so crypto Tim. I'm learning, but I'm a lot like newbies on here that is growing every single day, that has a lot of questions. Jebb has the answers, or at least most of them. From a fundamental standpoint, and from a technical analysis standpoint, Jebb, Bitcoin should be growing right now.
Yes.
And it is not.
Yes.
Why?
Good question. Here's exactly why. Very good question. Here's what I'm talking about, guys. Tim, you and I were building this company together, right? If you guys didn't know, I'm the CEO. Tim's the president of McAfee Media, which is the company that's building all these educational products for you guys. A lot of news coming out that later. But a big thing that we do here is we run this YouTube channel. One of the things that we do running this business is we talk about the idea of if we have a constant question, we should have a consistent answer. We have a consistent question, consistent answer. How do we do this stream? That's a question, consistent answer. This entire stream setup. That's a consistent question, consistent answer. A consistent question in Bitcoin is if Bitcoin should be growing, why isn't it? It's a good question, right? If Bitcoin should be growing and it should be going up in value because of the fundamentals, because of the adoption, because of the news, then why is it down $4,000 in the last 2 days? Give me a one in chat if that's a question you have. It's a valid question. Here's why. Smay, can you go ahead and jump me on over to the chart and I will show everybody what we're talking about here. So let's zoom in really quickly. Guys, we're going to do some more Bitcoin technical analysis here in a minute if we have time, but I just want to go ahead and show you. Bitcoin has pulled back a total of 6.5% in the span of about 34 hours. Pulled back $4,000. Cool. So exposition out of the way. Go back to me. Here's why. Technical analysis tends to dominate the short term. Fundamental analysis tends to dominate the long term. The analogy I use is this. Imagine you have a war. There's a war effort going on. America's fighting Germany in World War II. We know from history that America wins that war, right? The Allies beat the Axis. That's what the history textbooks say. That's what happens. Does that mean that the Allies won every battle? No. Doesn't mean the Allies won every battle. In fact, the Allies lost some very important battles. You can see if you look at the North African campaign between America and Italy, and then especially when Nazi Germany joined in, you'll see the Americans. Operation Torch in North Morocco was how they started that incursion into North Africa for the fight up towards Egypt and the Panama Canal. That fight, America lost several of those battles. we know that America won the war, so what gives? Well, obviously, if I use that analogy, you understand, just because you know you're going to win the war does not mean you're going to win every battle. Right now, on the war standpoint, we can tell that the long term for Bitcoin is very bullish. Why? Because of the fundamentals, because of the adoption, because of X, Y, Z, and the third. If we use our analogy, then we know America's going to win. Why? Because Germany doesn't have enough oil. Germany's economy is weak. Germany is surrounded on all sides. America has a bigger economy. America has a bigger infrastructure. Blah, 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 blah. Fundamentals say that America should win the war. Cool. America got the nuke first. Boom. We know that America should win the war. In the same way, we know that Bitcoin is winning the war. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to win every battle. So when Bitcoin pulls back $4,000 in a day, here's what you do. You're not looking at fundamentals. Fundamentals tell you what coin to invest in. Technical analysis tells you when to trade that coin. Take that away from this video. Here's some homework. Remember what I just said. Fundamentals tell you what coin to get into. Technicals tell you when to get into it and when to get out of it, otherwise known as trading. Fundamental analysis informs investing. Technical analysis informs trading. The technical analysis said that Bitcoin needed to correct. The fundamental analysis says that Bitcoin is going to go on a long-term rally. So Bitcoin can go on a long-term rally, but it can go on a short-term correction. Because the long-terms are dictated by the fundamentals, the short-term is dictated by the technicals. So when you're looking to make trades, be very careful about getting the two mixed up. Fundamental analysis, generally speaking, unless some massive news story broke, is not going to affect short-term price action on Bitcoin. It's going to affect long-term price action on Bitcoin. The technical analysis, which we're going to talk about here in a second, dictates that short-term price action. Bitcoin going down $4,000 is simply America losing a battle. We know they're going to win the war. Nothing to be worried about. Of course, we probably don't like losing a battle, but it's not the end of the world. Hopefully that answers the question. Tim, do you think that, from a different perspective, is that a good answer to what we're trying to get at?
I think it's a very good answer. I mean, and the truth is, man, what I think about it, and I think some of you guys might agree, I think that this actually has a lot to do with the Coinbase news, and I
agree.
think it's about to pump it over the edge. And there might be people like Cuban out there who know what's about to happen, and they do things to actually manipulate the market to get the price to go down for now so that we can actually go in the long run.
That's a hard maybe, by the way. We're not accusing Cuban of market manipulation.
I said like.
That is a hard maybe.
We said like. But that's the thing, is that when the fundamentals are lining up that we should be moving bullish, and the technicals are lining up that we should be moving bullish, I know there's news about more people are going into hold phase or hodl phase rather than trading right now, so that definitely plays a part, but it doesn't play a part in it going backwards. If anything, it should be stagnated, but it's moving backwards. I think what we're seeing is something happening causing the price to go low temporarily before the boom so that people can try to make a little more money.
Yeah, and someone actually talked about, let's see, where is it? They said, literally doesn't answer the question, Lamau. It has to do with people over leveraging. I agree with the second part of your statement. It does have to do with everything I just said. Over leveraging is a part of it. A lot of people got into trades that they shouldn't have gotten into. They didn't use stop losses and they got liquidated, and that caused the market to correct. Yes, that was a part of it, my friend. You're absolutely right. That's what I'm talking about with technical analysis. That short-term stuff in the technical region, that is an example of a region the market may have corrected in a technical standpoint. People got over-leveraged, boom, the market goes down. Cool. So, guys, I want to really quickly read the articles that we've been alluding to so that you guys understand why Bitcoin's fundamentals are so bullish, and so you guys are caught up a little bit more. So, if we can jump on over to my screen, I will go ahead and run through both of these quickly, and then we will get on to some Bitcoin TA because I know you guys are rearing for that. Coinbase registers 114.9 million shares for public listing. In case you didn't know, Coinbase is going IPO. What's an IPO, Jebb? An IPO is an initial public offering. It's what happened when a private company like ours, the company that runs this YouTube channel, goes public and gets listed on a stock exchange. When they do that, then the public is able to invest in the company. For example, Apple went IPO in, I believe, 1984. Google went IPO in like 2003 or something. Facebook went IPO in, I think, 2000, somewhere around the mid-2000s. I don't remember the date on Google and Facebook, but the point is those companies eventually got listed on a stock exchange. Coinbase is getting listed on a stock exchange on the 14th of this month, 7 days from today. The S1A form published Wednesday states that Coinbase plans to the resale of 114 million shares of Class A common stock for proposed maximum offering price of $943 million. So they're going live with a market cap of just under $1 billion, which will likely rally very quickly because many estimates puts Coinbase's value currently at $20 billion. In case you're looking for a good stock to buy into, Coinbase is one of them. We don't talk stocks too much, but we're probably about to start because of this. Guys, Coinbase, great stock to invest in. I am more than likely going to be buying some of it myself. It says that value is only a guide because it will depend on the pricing of shares at the time of the offering, which is undervalued. Let me be very clear. Coinbase is going live with undervalued stocks, as companies tend to do. So keep an eye on this stock. It is a very large opportunity for you. We're talking about like we're talking about potentially 1,000% return from a stock. Big deal. Anyway, we'll talk about that in future videos. Let's see here. The company will be treated as an emerging growth company. Bloomberg put the valuation at nearly $100 billion. So actually, what I was saying about $20 billion, Bloomberg says it's 5 times more valuable than that. I don't know that it's worth $100 billion. I kind of disagree with Bloomberg there. But the point is, it's worth a lot more than what is being listed as, which means there is a large amount of opportunity here. Guys, the point is Coinbase is going live. Moving on to the next story, we're going to talk about both of these, move on to some technicals, and wrap it all up. Grayscale is an investment bank. Tim can give a little bit more information about Grayscale after I'm done reading this. It's 100% committed to converting a GBTC into an ETF. What does that mean? An ETF is something called a derivative. ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. I gave Tim, can you hand me that sticky note I gave you earlier, Tim? Real quick, go to full screens, man. Let me explain really quickly for all of our newer viewers exactly what an ETF is. So I have a sticky note right here. It says 1 Bitcoin on it. What's 1 Bitcoin trading at right now? 1 Bitcoin is trading at $56,700. I'm going to sell you, Tim, take this from me. I'm going to sell you this sticky note for $57,000 on Bitcoin. So you've just bought a sticky note for $57,000 because it is pegged to the underlying price of Bitcoin.
That would mean I had $57,000, which is kind of nice.
Yes, but did you actually buy Bitcoin?
I didn't.
You didn't actually buy Bitcoin.
I bought a sticky note.
What you bought is a representation of Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
That sticky note is called a derivative. If you've ever been curious about what the hell a derivative is, that's what a derivative is. It's simply a contract that says I own something pegged to the price of this. Notice I didn't sell Tim Bitcoin. I sold him something pegged to the price of Bitcoin. So now, Tim, I'm going to buy that back from you, and Bitcoin's trading at $65,000. So give me this. Here's $65,000. You just made $7,000, right?
Yes.
Again, did any Bitcoin actually change hands? No, just a contract representative of the price of Bitcoin changed hands. What that means is that there was actually no value put into Bitcoin. So if you're wondering what an exchange traded fund is, it's a type of derivative. I just explained to you what a derivative is. Anyway, Grayscale is talking about a Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin ETFs are going to drive a massive amount of adoption to Bitcoin for the same reason they drove a massive amount of adoption for gold. So if you'll jump over to our Twitter, over to my chart, I will show you something that Tim brought up a little while ago. And Tim can walk us through this here in just a second. I'm going to lay the foundation and he can explain a little bit more. Look at this chart. The blue line down here, I hope I'm saying the colors right. You guys know I'm colorblind. This line down here represents the average growth per year of gold before 2004, when the first U.S. exchange traded fund derivative of gold came out. Then you see how gold's price rallied on a percentage basis after 2004. Clearly, there was a big shift after that derivative came out. Drove a lot of attention to gold. Tim, can you explain a little bit more? Let's go to full screen and discuss.
Yeah, if you look at the history of gold, there are times when it spikes and there's times where what it really is there is a lack of trust in the US dollar, and that's what we see gold spike. You saw it happen in the 70s. You saw it happen in 2002 after terror attacks.
Yep.
But then in 2004, there really wasn't anything fundamentally happening in 2004 that would make the people lose trust in the dollar any more so than they already had. But we saw the spike come from the fact that now an ETF came where it was more accessible. So that's really what it was, is that gold was kind of hard to get a hold of at the time. That ETF coming out allowed people the opportunity to get invested into gold at an easier level. So what this person on this Twitter post is saying is that look at what happened when gold had an ETF come out in 2004 and how it grew. Now that we're going to have one for crypto, or even more specifically for Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin going to do? In which case, some people were kind of like, well, Bitcoin is not the same because it's easier to get a hold of than gold, which is kind of true in a way, and yet not at the same time. And Jebb, did you want to talk about that, or you want me to go into
actually,
that?
real quick, let's break down what Tim is saying. The reason that an ETF, the reason I brought up this whole idea of explaining what a derivative is because of this. Gold did not increase in value because people were buying gold on an ETF. We just learned that it's a derivative, so the value that people put into the ETF did not actually impact the price of gold because they're not actually buying gold. So therefore, by the laws of supply and demand, the demand didn't actually go up because it wasn't attached. We just saw the demand was over here somewhere off in the ether in the derivatives market. The reason that gold rallied was because of weakness in the U.S. dollar that started in the 2001 recession. There was a recession after the terror attacks. It had to do with the dot-com bubble. I'm not going to get into that. There was a recession leading to inflation in the dollar. That combined with the fact that more people were interested in gold meant that more people went and bought the underlying asset, which is gold. That led to a massive increase in gold. Think about it like this. The gold ETF going live was akin to a marketing stunt. It was akin to the ETF saying, hey, world, look at this. Gold's amazing. You should buy gold. And what did the world say? They said, oh my gosh, I hate fiat currencies. Let's go buy gold. Same thing we can expect to happen on Bitcoin. The world is going to say, oh my gosh, these massive cryptocurrencies are now being adopted by all these massive institutions, this Bitcoin ETF is going to act like a massive marketing stunt for Bitcoin, and a ton of people are going to buy it for that reason. That is why I believe it's going to lead to a massive increase in Bitcoin, is because it's going to put Bitcoin's name even more on the map today than it already has been. Yeah. Thoughts?
No, I mean, also, when you look at the other news, when people say that Bitcoin is easier to get a hold of, the reason I said yes and no is because you guys watching this video, or at least if you've been in the crypto space for a while, you know you can go to a platform and you can trade in it. That being said, there's a lot of people who don't want to do it that way. A lot of people don't want to actually put their hands in and deal with it. Why do we see, like, what is it, 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, the demand from BlackRock and Goldman Sachs, their clients demanding that they start allowing them to invest in Bitcoin. What they were saying, they could right now go to Coinbase or go to Bybit or they could go to any number of platforms and get Bitcoin. They didn't want to do it. They want to continue to keep their mind on whatever they're working on, their career, their job, whatever they're doing, and they want to pay somebody else to invest in it. At the moment, there weren't a lot of options that way. So when we see things like the BlackRock news, the Goldman's news, this stuff with Grayscale's ETF, and we see this stuff happening with Coinbase's IPO, what we're seeing is an easier access to get into Bitcoin. Right? You have something?
Someone just, Ruben Teixeira, I don't know if I said your last name right. Amazing point. Shout out to you, Ruben. Ruben said, when fiat was backed by gold, does that mean the dollar note was like an ETF? Yes. The dollar was not an ETF because it wasn't an exchange-traded fund, but it was a derivative. It was a derivative. Very good point. It was backed by something, and now it's not backed by anything. So now, essentially, what we're talking about is that Bitcoin is a derivative, is being backed by the price of Bitcoin, right? Well, what if we just got rid of all the Bitcoins and people were trading pieces of paper that they said, oh, this is worth what? It's worth who God only knows what, because there's no actual Bitcoin. If we have a derivative and no underlying asset, then there's no point in having the derivative. That's where fiat currencies are right now, because we got taken off of the gold standard. Very good point. Very, very good view on that.
Well, let's go just to do the TA. Let's do the TA.
Let's do some TA, guys. Let's go ahead and do some Bitcoin technical analysis. Guys, if you want to know why we have been talking about fundamentals this entire time, it's because it's absolutely critical that you don't just understand fundamentals and that you don't just understand technicals. You need to understand both. So let's go ahead and do some technical analysis. We're going to wrap it out here in just a second. Everybody's wondering why Bitcoin has corrected so much over the last couple of days, and I will show you on our charts. Let's go ahead and do this, guys. Bitcoin has a resistance level at $60,000. It has been struggling to get through $59,000 to $60,000 for the last week or so. That is because of all the fundamental news going on in the background. We've been building tension in that spring, but the spring is not broken out yet. There's a ton of tension in the spring, but it hasn't been released yet. It's going to, just hasn't happened just yet. You guys know that we're in a symmetrical triangle pattern right here, which we will more than likely break to the upside. At the moment, because of this uptrending level of support being down here, we could pull all the way down to $54,500, and that'd be perfectly healthy on Bitcoin. We see volume is declining. We also see that volatility is declining on Bitcoin, and that is indicative that we should see a breakout in the future because we have confirmation we're in a symmetrical triangle pattern. Those will break to the upside. We have an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here for all of my technical nerds who learn technical analysis through our academy, CT2A. But here's what happened. We saw that there was not a lot of interest in Bitcoin, so our bullish MACD cross did not come to fruition. That means that we are trading sideways on Bitcoin. That means that we are not seeing a ton of excitement about Bitcoin. Why? Quite frankly, guys, everybody got bored. We had a huge rally earlier on this year. People are taking profits. People are enjoying themselves. People are saving money after they spent a bunch of it at the end of Q4 on Halloween and Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Christmas. And now, with all the stimulus checks coming out, now with the inflation of the US dollar, now with tax returns coming out, people are going to be looking to invest in Bitcoin. That is why I am saying right now, you should be looking at Bitcoin as a huge investment opportunity. Regardless of what happens today, tomorrow, the next 7 days, the next several months on Bitcoin are going to be huge. You may understand now why we've been talking about fundamentals this entire time, because quite frankly, I just did all the technical analysis that matters in 2 minutes. There you go. Let's go ahead and go back to full screen, and I think we're about to wrap it out, guys. I hope you did enjoy today's live stream. If you did, as always, hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 500 likes before the end of the stream. Let's just go crazy. You guys wanted to see me do a backflip. I won't do a backflip, but maybe I'll do a cartwheel. Yeah. I could do that. That's something that I am very much capable of doing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and shout out to everyone who has joined from BitBoy. Shout out to Ben Armstrong over at BitBoy Crypto. knows what he's talking about, and he's someone that I do recommend you go and subscribe to. It is going to be a great day for cryptocurrency when he hits 1 million subscribers. Shout out to my friend. If you enjoyed today's stream, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more content, and let us know if you are learning from what we're talking about here on the channel. I think we are providing great value, but I want to hear your opinion. Give us a 1 in chat. Tim, is there anything left?
Before we go, I'm going to give you guys a shot to ask any last important questions.
Yes.
But also, if you're a fan of ADA and Cardano, we are dropping a video this afternoon where Jebb is giving a TA and his full take on what is happening in Cardano and what to expect from that. Let me see. We'll make sure there's no questions. And if so, we'll give you a wrap-up on our competition for Friday, our predictions of the prices. So, keep an eye, May, on chat just in case there's a good question, because I'm going to have my eye on market cap.
I have a question.
You have a question?
Okay, what is it?
Yeah, so why should I buy CT2A?
Good question. Why should you buy the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy? I'll give it to you in under 60 seconds to be courteous to your time. The Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy is the academy that we offer based on thousands of hours of experience that I have in trading Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I don't mean to brag, but I do know what I'm talking about in cryptocurrency. I think this channel proves it. I can teach you guys something. I can teach you how to make money. If you're in cryptocurrency, you're probably here for 2 reasons. Number 1, you believe in Bitcoin. I preach why I believe in Bitcoin. I am very passionate about this space. Number 2, you're probably here to make money. I'm going to teach you how to make money. How do you make money in cryptocurrency? I have a whole video coming out on how to trade cryptocurrency, but I go in even more detail in CT2A. Remember I said earlier, fundamental analysis informs your investments. Technical analysis informs your trades. I have a feeling, drop a 1 in chat, that many of you guys are traders. In CT2A, I teach you technical analysis so that you can learn how to trade. If you want to go into physics, you have to learn math, right? If you want to go into nursing, you have to understand how a bedside manner works. You have to understand medicine. Technical analysis is the fundamental skill set that you need to become a trader. And for that reason, I believe that if I teach you technical analysis, you will be equipped to go and make profitable trades and make a lot of money. CT2A is the first link in the description box down below. It has 36 videos and over 12 hours of content. And by the way, guys, one final point, we don't sell the course for some hidden information. If you wanted to, you could go and learn all of this on your own. Here's why you don't want to do that. It took me 3 years and 4,000 hours, around 2,000 to 4,000 hours. It's always going up because I spend several hours a day learning it. I spent all of that time learning technical analysis, and I want to sell you your time back. You can go through the entire course in 12 hours and learn what took me 2,000 or 3,000 hours. Work $10 an hour for 3,000 hours, you make $30,000. The course is $349. I'm going to sell your time back at 100th of the price that it would have cost you if you were to try and do it on your own. First link in the description box down below. If you want a skill set that has the potential to make you a lot of money, give us a 7 in chat if you're a CT2A alumni. Tim, do you want to go ahead and run over those price targets? I know we're going a little bit over time, but I think that's okay.
All right, so right now we got Cardano sitting at a nice 121, which is down. I think yesterday we got all the way up to 134, right?
I believe so,
Yeah, I think at one point yesterday it was at 134 with that massive weird spike. So where we are in the race, Smay voted that it was going to be at 115 on Friday. So I don't think it's going to be right. Let us know in chat if you think it's going to be right. That's a little low. I don't think Cardano's going to back down there.
It's at 120 right now.
He was saying he thought he was going to get there because he didn't know that any news was going to break. Obviously, news has broken. And again, you'll see that in Jebb's video this afternoon. But his vote at 115, not looking very good, looking a little bearish. Jebb's vote at 125 is looking nice, but I am still thinking that my vote of 130 is going to come true. I think we're going to see some things bounce here, and you'll see why in today's video. Ethereum sitting right now at a comfortable $2,013. Right now, we're all in it. I think any one of us could actually be right because I think it's going to go back up. I think, especially if what Cuban is saying happens, then it's definitely going to go to shoe up. But Smay voted 2,100. Jebb said 2,400. Jebb is very bullish on Ethereum. And I, with weird technical analysis that I can explain at a different time, believe that it's going to actually end up sitting about $2,200, $6.47. So let us know, what do you guys think there? The last one, Bitcoin, the disappointment of our lifetime in this last couple of days. Sitting at 56, just below 57, 56,969, now 968, it's going down again. I am hoping something happens massively because our predictions are all up. Smay said 62,000 even. Jebb said 63,000 even. And I believe it's going to sit a little bit closer to 64 with a 63,820. It's not looking good at the moment for any of us. That being said, Smay the pessimist might have a win on that one.
Yeah.
But literally, tomorrow we could skyrocket because we are just sitting here waiting for that to boost and go through the ceiling.
At any
Almost like
moment
I'm
it could
winning all of
explode.
them at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
Almost like you're not. It's almost
Yeah,
like
it's almost like
It's almost like you're lame.
you got a couple days. You got a couple days.
I said winning. I didn't say win. I said winning.
So which team are you on? Are you on Team Jebb, Team Tree, which is Smay, or are you on Team Tim? Team non-crypto Team The Beard.
We got a lot of names.
Team Tree is also going by Team Babyface now. That's what someone named you yesterday.
Yeah.
By the way, for everybody who just joined, I'm Team Jebb, obviously. This is the Crypto Beard. And Smay over here is also known as Smee the Tree, if you were new here. He is also known as the Crypto Babyface, which I think is a name that he should keep. Anyway, tell us hashtag Team Jebb, Team Crypto Beard, or Team Smee the Tree in chat. Tim, anything final?
That's it.
Guys, if you did enjoy today's live stream, make sure to hit that like button. It helps out the channel a lot when you do that. Drop a 1 in chat if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more like it. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CryptoJebb. We are becoming increasingly active over there, and we're trying to share as much information as possible with you so that we can help you guys along your journey of becoming profitable in cryptocurrency markets and changing your life through means of trading, investing, and working in this industry. Guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.